Welcome to my channel. This is my very first K-pop unpopular opinion, so you know it's my opinion. That's all the disclaimer you need. Not everyone can be a soloist, and unless you come from a very established group, it is harder for you to gain success as a soloist, especially for female idols. So I don't get why a lot of groups are disbanding, especially in hopes of making a bigger solo career. Don't get me wrong, having a solo career and being in a group are two different things, but a lot of these groups don't have what it takes to be soloists, and there are only very few spots for a new solo career. A lot of the people who are dominating South Korea have had their careers for almost 20 years, so even if they are not pursuing a solo music career, they can't pursue a solo career either. There's no space for them. So unless these girls absolutely hate their company, I suggest that instead of disbanding, they resign their contracts. Because there's no space for them anywhere else. Stray Kids got their success off of misogyny. Do you guys remember in 2018, when Do came out and Blackpink pretty much went viral? ARMYs were so butthurt that Blackpink was able to beat some international records before BTS had a comeback. So they started dragging Blackpink for not writing their music, and JYP saw that and heavily marketed Stray Kids as a group that wrote their own music. Literally, anything you saw with Stray Kids had self-produced plastered alongside it, which in fact, yes, Stray Kids statistically is a more self-produced group than BTS. The same happened with Idol, but I'm not gonna say they got their career from misogyny because they are fighting misogyny every day. Speaking of Idol, Soyeon should not have been running her mouth like that if she wasn't willing to leave Cube. Don't get me wrong, I like the fact that they have absolute control over their music and image, things the company wouldn't offer them otherwise. They already have seniority and power, which would give them a more favorable deal if they stayed with Cube. And Cube needs them, so they'd obviously have better conditions than before. But I just don't like how she was out here saying all this, just to go back to the company. Like, girl, did you even try? I would understand it if she opened her own company, that would outsource to Cube, which would then outsource to Idol, because Cube only serves as the budget provider, and they can't do the one job properly. Unless something changes in the next 30 days, I actually think Rosé has a fair chance of winning Best Collaboration at the Grammys. I mean, the MTV award is already guaranteed for her. But outside of Die With A Smile, I don't know any other notable collaborations that stand a chance of winning that award at the Grammys. And she deserves it. The song is amazing, it's popular, and it's currently still charting #1 on the global Spotify list. I don't see any reason why she wouldn't win, and I'm willing to bet my left pinky that she's getting nominated. Speaking of Rosé, based on the success of A.P.T, I think she actually stands a chance at also being nominated for Best New Artist at the Grammys. And like I said before, unless something changes in the next year, I don't see why anyone but her would win. If you look at this year's nominees, Sabrina Carpenter, Chappell Roan, these are people who, I will say, have found unprecedented success in the last few months. But Rosé's career trajectory in the past year is similar to theirs. So, if she finds another hit for this album, it doesn't even have to go #1 or top 10. It just has to survive on the chart for at least 7 weeks. I actually think she's guaranteed a nomination for Best New Artist at the Grammys, and she stands a chance at winning in 2026. Let's talk about NewJeans and the constant excuses people make for them, because, honestly, they are too old for that. Yes, I get it, the youngest member is 16. Fine, but Honey? She's a grown-ass woman. I think Honey is actually older than me. And before y'all come for me, I know my videos have been supportive of Woojin. That's genuinely because I'm interested in her evolution of K-pop and what that could mean for idols in general. But let's not deny the facts, she's messy. Allegedly, of course. And if she's guilty of everything she's being accused of, allegedly, then it's a problem. But these girls? They are not 13. They've spent the last 3 years under Woojin's shadow. They knew the risks, and they knew the potential rewards, which is why their families are also involved. This isn't just about internal management issues anymore. I'd take these girls more seriously, not Min Hee-jin, because she knows exactly who she is, but the NewJeans members. I'd take them seriously if they didn't try to paint themselves as victims over things like a manager not saying hi to them. Like, girl, no one cares, and can we talk about Honey for a second? Her level of Korean is surface level at best. So, there's no way to know exactly what was said in these situations. And if you think you have the right to terminate your contract just because you no longer have a CEO who would bitch slap another group from a different agency for not saying hi to you, let me tell you, that's insane. It's giving entitlement. I wish they were more upfront about what they are actually trying to do. Because, honestly, people would be more supportive if they just told the truth. But this whole victim narrative, it's not landing. Now, let's talk about Baby Monster. Why do they keep forcing Ian to sing and not letting Rami, the actual vocalist, do what she's supposed to do? No one can deny that Ian can hold a note or two. She's also a very good rapper, a great dancer, and has excellent stage presence. I don't care what you guys say, stop bullying a 17-year-old. However, her musicality is not good. A lot of the time, when she's singing a song that isn't Baby Monsters, she misses a beat, loses the rhythm or melody, and sounds off. Of course, she catches herself, but I've noticed this mistake more than once. And her being able to hit a high note, not that impressive. Because hitting a high note without doing it properly shows how poorly trained you are as an artist, and it damages your voice in the long run. I mean, she's 17, so she should be done with puberty, but her voice is still developing, and she's already ruining it. It's not her fault, it's her production team's fault. Woojin, from Stray Kids, or I guess the former member of Stray Kids. He left because fans were bullying him for being unattractive and quiet since he wasn't as talkative or extroverted as the other members. People came up with these narratives that he was creepy or jealous of the other members, even though he was just an introvert. And after he left the group, fans retaliated against him for not tolerating their abuse by creating a false narrative that he was an abuser. They claimed he abused 2 girls at a club, but after some investigation by the police, it turned out those girls were aunties. They were in Brazil, claiming to be from China, and using Google Translate to fake things in Mandarin. It just breaks my heart. Woojin wanted this so bad. He had to get a job in middle school to pay for his training, instruments, and vocal lessons. He gave just as much as the other members, and he left peacefully. He didn't cause any trouble. But these entitled fans, who felt they had the right to abuse him, also felt entitled to his career. When he left the group, they decided to ruin him further for choosing to put himself first. Now for my final opinion, let's talk about J.Y. Park, because honestly, I think he's a leech. Hear me out. If you remember from 2013 to 2017, Jip and YG were everywhere together. Every time J.Y. Park wanted to debut a boy group, there was magically some kind of competition against a YG trainee group. Take GOT7, for example, they had a competition against the future winner and icon members. But let's be real, it wasn't even a competition. It was just a way to showcase everyone's strengths and weaknesses. And the same thing happened with the current Treasure members and the Stray Kids members. But here's where it gets interesting. Now that YG is no longer on top in terms of popularity, J.Y. Park has latched onto HYBE. He's all over their CEO, all over the artists under HYBE, and honestly, it's wild. Like, he spends just as much, if not more, time around HYBE's groups than he does with the groups under his own label. It's not giving business savvy, it's giving user. He's using these people for his own gain, and it's honestly fascinating to watch. And that brings me to this question: what did Lee Soo-man know that we didn't? Because this tomfoolery was never a thing with SM Entertainment. I never saw J.Y. Park hanging around SM CEO, never saw them chit-chatting or interacting, and I certainly didn't see JIP groups hanging out with SM groups like that. So how did J.Y. Park manage to get in with YG and now HYBE, but not SM? What's the tea there? Because honestly, I'm confused. And that's the tea. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, agree or disagree, but keep it respectful. See you in the next one.